Hey
Hi.
Simon, how are you doing?
Good. Very well, mate. Good to see you.
W- Wonderful. First of all, Simon, getting a video game adaptation right doesn't seem like the easiest thing to do. So I was wondering, what did you learn about previous video game adaptations that helped you getting Mortal Kombat right?
Well, I tried. I think when I looked at other films that weren't successful, the common thing for me, and I could be wrong, but what I think was happening was they weren't necessarily respecting the material enough, and they kind of forgot about things that ultimately really mattered.
Mhm.
Um, to the fans, or changed it too much, and to the point where you thought, well, why did you should have perhaps just used something else. So I think it's a matter of trying to understand the spirit of something, understand what is the sort of the DNA, and within the what's inside, and what really makes up the tone and the feeling
Yeah,
of a piece of material, and then making sure that that is really then elevated to this cinematic experience. That was the exercise for me, and that hit, costume design, and who the casting was, and the lenses, and everything was all about respecting and elevating. And I perhaps that's, I didn't study every video game film, and
right.
and then we didn't take, there was, we took story and lore and characters, but we didn't take, video game construct. We
Right.
applied a film structure, and we applied film making techniques to make the story right. And so I think that's perhaps trying to get that balance, that combination right, was certainly what we were trying to achieve. And we'll see whether we've been successful, but that that's that was the attempt.
But what's really fascinating about your movie is the fact that, yes, we get to see, a lot of iconic characters from the video game series, but at the same time, we also get to see Cole Young, which is completely new and fresh. So I was wondering, what's more tricky or what requires more innovation? Bringing a legendary character like Sub-Zero to life and getting that right, or introducing a brand new character and making sure that he is as exciting and thrilling as all the ones that a lot of people already know and love.
Yeah, well, actually, they're to both really good points, because both both creative exercises were as tricky as each other, but just from very different angles, right? So,
Yeah.
um, the Mortal Kombat is amazing because of its characters. So to bring a new character in, we had to make sure that he kind of matched the level that the guys at NetherRealm who made the game, that they have created. So first of all, I wanted to make sure that we were bringing about these classic characters into a really powerful, beautiful, layered, rich, textural way, to make them feel very real, but also to make them the most, so they feel respected and really loved.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, it was about bringing Cole in and just trying to bring him up to that level, um, and just trying to do both things at once. They were both quite tricky.
I believe you that. And speaking of, tricky things, I mean, this is like your first feature film, and it's not a small one.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, how did you deal with all the pressure that came with it?
Well, I don't actually find it that much pressure, actually.
All right.
And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I just mean that I actually really love it, and I find it really enjoyable process. I like the big circus, and I like all that. I find that really a really satisfying thing to to create, and see how we can really bring this really big sort of this big feeling and this big cinematic experience. So I didn't feel the pressure. I mean, I'd done a lot of commercials that were as big or bigger production days. I
Hmm.
just didn't go for as long. So the days themselves were not particularly, hard, or it's just that they went on for 100 days rather than 12 days. Or 8 days or 4 days. So there was a certain amount of experience I had in that just putting something like this together, and it was a sort of a mini version, but the days themselves were similar.
Awesome. Simon, I want to thank you very much for your time today. All the best for your movie. I can't wait for all the fans to see it. As a fan myself, I can say you guys totally nailed it. So
Right.
all the best with it. And thanks again for doing this with us. So, and see you next time.
Yeah, pleasure. Good chatting to you, mate.
Thank you. Bye, Simon.
Bye.